Welcome guys, my name is Sebastian. I wanted to talk to you about timing the market and understanding what's happening when the freight is slow and what to do and how to plan for it. Should you buy a new truck or replace your existing equipment, and what I've seen in the industry for the last 10 years and how to understand the cyclical markets and freight availability. So when you time it right and you plan for potential slowdown, whether you're running as an independent or leased to a company, you always want to have it in your mind and think about it and plan for it, that the slowdown might happen, and then you're going to have to sit for X amount of time to wait for the market to kind of stabilize. So what we're seeing right now is more trucks than freight available. There's a lot of drivers and companies sitting, and load boards the rates are dropping. And what I've seen for the last few weeks, it's pretty much we came down from a peak for the previous year, and then you're dipping in the market, and then you're usually seeing a pickup in about second quarter, second half of the year also, and up to the peak. Obviously peak is always here, holiday season. It has been for multiple years, where you see a lot of e-commerce moved on before Christmas or on holidays. So when you're timing and thinking about buying a truck, I think it's at least something to think about and consider, because when you're jumping in and buying a truck, whether you finance it or you spend your money, your savings, and buying a truck, then you might not be ready for this when it's going to come and slow down. So when you're thinking about buying a truck and you land somewhere around third or fourth quarter and you decide to buy a truck, then you might not have enough time to actually save for your slow season again and next year. It's a lot more flexible. You have a lot more options running as an independent on the load boards, because now you're running the entire market versus sticking to one, like we are in the Midwest, and being only in a limited radius that you will not go outside. So if you're open and flexible to take advantage of where the rates are good and go to that region, and then work the 48 states, then that's definitely something that will help you survive. But if you only want to stick to what around your house, that's or your local market, then that might be a little bit harder. So when you're coming down from the peak, January, February, actually you might see some weather conditions, so that you might have some spikes in rates and freight for certain markets. But usually there's a lot less demand for freight over here, and depending on the previous peak, you will see a lot of trucks available. That's why you're going to see that dip, and then the rates will go down, and it will take a little bit time to stabilize. So deciding when to buy a truck, you need to be aware that overall, the sooner you buy the truck, the better. Obviously here you can buy a lot of trucks that dealers will drop prices, give you better deals, because there's not as much demand for trucks as it is, let's say right here. So that's something definitely worth considering. And then you have a lot of time to actually go out and prepare for the potential slowdown in next year's first, second quarter. But no matter when you buy the truck, I always, I think I've talked about it in a previous video, is to budget for things that might go wrong with the truck, to budget for slow time, and you always want to make sure you control your expenses. On their contracted rates or spot market rates, you need to know what it's costing you to deliver certain loads, and how much is your truck actually costing you to operate. And that will help you make better decisions in when to buy the truck as well. Because if you don't know the equipment, you don't know the truck, and you're not sure you're buying a new one, then you're gonna have to figure out your costs of your operating cost. And then if you don't have any savings, you're gonna go into the dip, and then you're pretty much frustrated, and you will take anything just to survive, and that's not a happy place to be. So definitely seeing the market go up and down, which we hadn't seen for last 2 years. 17-18 was a pretty good year for the freight industry, and right now we're seeing some of the dips come back. 16 was a lot slower, and 17-18 was great, but it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And knowing and your ability to keep more is based on your knowledge around your truck and your operating costs. So that's something definitely to consider and think about, and timing it right, when to buy a truck and when to not buy a truck. When you're buying it towards the end of the year, going into the slow first quarter of the next year is going to be that much more difficult for you. And again, are you leasing on, or are you running spot market freight? And then you can then you can make decisions on your own with your own authority. When you're running your load boards, you can go pretty much anywhere and make it work, or sit through the slow season if the rates are not something that interests you, or something that will make you money. So that's a quick video about the timeline and how to time buying a truck. Subscribe if you haven't, watch our other videos, and drive safe.